7 seconds. Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakodash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, also the elder bishops of Connecticut, who's teaching the truth and sincerity, and also Ugo. Peace and salutations to the whole folk that scattered four corners of the earth, you so-called Negroes, Latino Hispanics, and the Native American Indians, you know, the true Israelites. So our brother Yuanathon from Great Millstone, Detroit, just back at you with another lesson. And one entitled is, this is the best job that you can get me getting into, or something into that vibration. All right, because this is, and especially in these times, this is the best thing that can occupy your lob, your mind, your spirit. Okay, so it's the best work you can do. All right, because even though you're gonna be cut off from the world, people look at you different. You know, it's you know how they say that's the territory. You know, coming to this truth, things that you go through, hey, it comes with the territory. Maybe that's what I'll call it. So first thing I want to get is James 1, because once you get into this truth, there's actually work to be done, man. To preach the gospel and try to wake up the elect. All right. Okay, it says, this is James 1:22. It says, but be ye doers of the word, not just hearers only, deceiving your own selves. And a lot of people are deceived, man. When you look at certain churches, when you look at certain Israelite groups, they know they didn't take the straight gate, man. Because once you do it, when you come in this truth, there's certain things that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable, but you know the Lord's commandments ain't grievous. You know, we were so westernized and going with this society that, you know, you feel different, you feel out of place. You know, Jake likes to get lineups and things like that. That's on a small vibration, but yo, that's not what we're supposed to do. So we put all that stuff off. Because Romans 12th chapter, I know I brought this out in the last video. It's Romans 12 and 2. And it says, actually we start at 1. Because like I said, it's a job that we're supposed to be doing. It's work to be done. Okay, so this is Romans 12 and 1. It says, beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So you'll see us, you know, main things that you'll see as prophets on the highways and byways. So let's present your bodies out like a living sacrifice. Yeah, you see us, we be in all, you know, we be in the elements. Might be a rainy day, might be hot as fuck, might be snowing, so on and so forth. These are things to show, hey, no matter what conditions, we out here doing this work. You know, it says preach in season, out of season, roughly paraphrasing. And it says this is your reasonable service. This is a job. You're supposed to be doing this. Okay? And 2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. All right, so don't be conformed. The last thing I was talking about is, like, you know, basically the trends of this world. You know, especially with Esau Edom pushes. You know, like I said, the lineups. You know, yeah, we wear mixed fabric. Certain sins we can't fight off because we're under this dude's rulership. But if you can fight the ways of this world, you know, like I said, not getting the line up, keeping your beard, you know, things to that nature, then on the side of righteousness, man. Don't be like this world, because this world only promotes wickedness, unrighteousness. Everything that you see in the scriptures, Esau does the exact opposite. Okay? And it says, be renewed. And it says, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right, so like I said, when you get into Ephesians, the 4th chapter, you know, that's one of my favorite verses. You know, just real quick, just adding, I'm just, you know, and it says, this is Ephesians 4:22, and it says that ye put off the concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, all right, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. So you see how those precepts kind of go together. And it says, put off the concerning the former conversation. And what it's talking about is your conduct, how you conduct yourself. All right, so you know, you smoking weed, you got lineups, you commit adultery, you backstabbing, you making bearing false witness. Those are things that you got to put off and be renewed by this, because the scriptures in the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is what keeps you. It keeps you. It makes you grow. It gives you. Hey, you get a reward, man. Like I was saying, this comes with the territory. If you follow these law, statutes, commandments, first off, you don't have protection. Lord, Lord might be like, yo, this brother, you good? Hey, yo, hey, Mike, hey, Gabriel, make sure you watch this brother. Make sure nothing happens to him. You know, you got that protection. Oh yeah, Psalms 91. This is Psalms 91, and we'll start from the top. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. All right, and how you do that? Just following the law. That's the law, statutes, and commandments of these scriptures, man. All right, so when you do these things, you know you're protected. And it says, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. All right, and like I said, when you get looking those words, like, you know, a fortress or a refuge, it's a hedge protection, you know, a covering, basically, because it's gonna be so bad out here. You have no other option but to put your 100% faith in the Lord. Yes, we know we're gonna have people that isn't going to have that faith, or they might sell out because they don't have the integrity. But the thing is, on this side, it's going to be for the elect. You know, that's what we're striving to be that number, man, to be the hopeful elect, because hey, we're prisoners of hope. Okay, but knowing like things like that, it should build you up. You know, there's things where, you know, brothers got tons of testimonies how Yahweh Bashim Yahushua delivered brothers. You know, got brothers out of jams, got brothers, you know, with arms, things like that. Okay, and like I said, when we look at the things in this world versus the new world to come, this is nothing but a consolation right here. So I'm trying to buy no bag where, you know, your money is basically corruptible, a thief can steal it, fiat money, bullshit money. No, the real reward is, you know, being delivered, salvation is getting delivered from them ships. You know, being of the elect is like the best thing that you can aim for. Okay, because look at this. Let's get John. All right, let's start from the top. This is John 14:1. It says, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh, believe also in me. So basically, it's like if you believe in Yahweh, believe also in Yahweh Shai. because they're one. They're like-minded. Yahushua knew everything. But it says, let not your heart be troubled. And that gives me another scripture to meet that Isaiah 33. And 6, and it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So doing these things, the Lord will keep you, man. Yeah, some of us gonna have to go through, Jacob's trouble, being shooken up. The elder from Chicago say, listen, you gonna listen. If you've never been rocked, you will be, especially in these times to come. But when they have these scriptures, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding like I said, this book prophesies or talks about the past, the present, and the future. But getting into this and having imagination, now you kind of got a one-up of what's going to happen. And you sticking with it can build you up. That's why it says, the wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So now you're stable. Everybody gonna be rocking. Yeah, you might be shaking a little bit, but you still got a steady, stable foundation to stand upon. Okay. But getting back to the rewards as well, it says verse 2, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Look, and many mansions. Yeah, we know that the kingdom's gonna be on earth, but now, hey, just correct me, because I think it's extraterrestrial, where you can go to different universes, different realms, planets. That's what's there for the children of Israel, man. Like, I always joked, because I believe I am a charitable brother. I love giving brothers gifts. And, if I was ever in the kingdom, like when I'm in the universe flowing with another brother, I'd be like, here's a planet with you, for you. Go and populate, bro. But just being silly, but these are rewards to look for, man. To be an actual king, to be an actual governor. We're gonna be doing that through the law, statutes, and commandments, Yahbashim, Yahushua, but we're gonna be ruling like kings. Yeah, having slaves, having multiple wives, having concubines. All right, so what if you don't like it? But who wouldn't want that? Just like I said, if you don't, that's why that westernized mindset got you fucked. Okay. Yeah, like I said, you got a crown for you. But again, there are consequences of you not listening. All right. Let me see. Matthew 26. Oh, it's a long scripture. We'll just grab these ones. Matthew 24:30. Now, this is a perfect, scripture put together when it comes to the ones that obeyed and the one that disobeyed. So actually, let me do this one. Let me get Matthew 7 first. And then I'll bring out the Matthew 24. So I'll get that one queued. Matthew 7:21. It says, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven." So you see, we got these Christians out here. We got these other Israelite groups calling along the wrong name. But regardless, are you doing what the Lord requires of you? Are you putting down the pork chop? Are you stop committing adultery? That's why it says obedience is better than sacrifice. Because, if you're doing the will, you got nothing to worry about. You're doing your best to offend less, to not to commit wickedness. That's why, when you get into Ezekiel 9:24, the man that sighed and cried for all the abominations, that just shows that their heart, their lives, their spirit wasn't with the wickedness, man. It was to serve, to do the will, to hey, you pretty much get what I'm getting at. And like I said, I was trying to find the beat with many strikes, because everybody know that we're out there. People can't say they didn't hear. So, it's gonna be worse unless they just want to continue just to be extremely cold. Let me get this one. Now end it off on there. This is Matthew 24 and 30. Alright. Actually, let me start at 31 and I'll hop back to 30. This is Matthew 24 and 31. And it says, "And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the end of heaven to the other." So this is the reward, the elect getting beamed up, saved from the destruction, the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, man. But for those that weren't saved, hop up to 30. It says, "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great powers and great glory." So we can come over them ships, them angels, and it says the tribes of earth shall mourn, because there's going to be a lot of killing. There's going to be a lot of death, man. There's going to be a lot of destruction going on. So let me just end off on this one little precept. This is Isaiah 66. And 16, it says, "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." Right? You're gonna be getting like that by the thermonuclear fire, the lasers from ships. It's gonna be a lot of killing, man. Only 144,000 is going to, and of course the numeral multitude is gonna be saved. But I don't know how many people are in the population of America, but it's going to be a lot versus the one that's going to be redeemed. Okay? So, getting to this truth, there's territory, there's things that's going to be expected, things that's going to happen. Scripture say the Lord is not going to give you too much that you can't handle. Yeah, it might hurt, you might think you can't, but when you look back at it, you be like, damn, I did that. Alright? But yes, it's time to really lock in. That goes for me too. The Lord willing, I hope this video was edifying, to the point. And again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles that great millstones, teach truth and sincerity, and also who we will. I'm going to close out and say shalom.